Hi everyone. This is a very important topic to have the IP are allocation on our system. So actually the IP is allowed in a two way. The one way is static way and the another way is automatic way. So if I am showing you that on my screen that this here is a computer system, and on this computer system, if you want to communicate with a network, so you have to be configure on your system with minimum with a IP address. Okay, so here is the two options that we can give IP address on your system. So the first option is we can put static IP. So for this static IP, we have to be go your systems, and you have to be write down a few process by your own self, like is that 192.168 0 dot or something, some numbers you can put that for IPv version 4. Okay, so like this way you can create your own IP address, your private IP address by your own self. Okay, so this is the only one. This is a static IP options, but the another IP option you will find it's a very popular also that when we install our DHCP server at our home, or if we have a, broadband uh, installation setup at our home, so at that point uh, we don't need to require to write down our IP details information on our system. So the IP will get through the DHCP server by automatically. So like this way, a system can easily get DHCP, um, easily get a IP address very easily through DHCP process. Okay, so this DHCP process is actually is a automatic way, so we don't need to require to write down our IP address by ourselves. So this IP is automatically come through our router. So that's why this is the automatic way actually. But this is the important thing for a system, and on my screen I'm showing to you that uh, few things is very important for a systems, for a network, and especially that when you are trying to connect um, to a server to get to access your information. So that time you have to be know about few items of DNS. Okay, so what is actually the DNS? So DNS is domain name server. So basically that if you want to access the server, so you have to be right on your server, like the facebook.com or google.com. So so actually the Facebook has its own IP address and the Google has its own IP address. So it's a very little bit hard point for everyone to remember everyone's IP address. Okay, because that if I'm talking about 4.4.4.4, so this 4.4.4.4 is only for Facebook address, or if I am talking about the Google IP address, so Google has its IP address. If we are not typing on our browser for access anything through Google, or access Google, so the computer is actually the network is always understanding about the IP addresses. So if we type on our browser like this way, that 8.8.8.8, so that's the meaning, that's our Google default IP address. So the 4.4.4.4 or 8.8.8.8, those two are very easy to remind um, on our head. But if I'm talking about a few more website, like is that if I'm talking about, for example, that if for example that I'm a web developer and I just built a website, and on my website I have a few web pages. Okay, so on my website I have a few web pages, so that's mean that I have a few IP addresses, so it's really hard to remember so every IP addresses from web pages. So that's why actually we are using domain, and domain server provide us a name. So this, so at that point this is very easy to keep remember the name things, like as the if I have to be search on Facebook, so I'm just writing in here that www.facebook.com or www.google.com. So I don't need to remember the IP addresses for those web pages. So that's the benefit. That's the benefit from our domain. Okay. So the domain name server has a few records, has a few commands, and the commands have their own activities. Like this, if I am talking about A, okay, so the capital A is a particular letter, and how this A is working on a DNS records. So A actually A mentioned that this A is a domain IP address. Okay, like is that if I'm talking about facebook.com, so Facebook has their own IP address like as 4.4.4.4. So this A mentioned the 4.4.4.4. Or if I have a DHCP IP address on my system, and my IP address, for example, if I am talking about that 192.168.1. If I am talking about my virtual system, which IP address on my virtual system for Kali Linux is 192.168.1.10. So this IP address, this IP address, if this IP address is included a domain or something, so this points mentioned by A. Now, what is the CNAME actually? So, for example, that I am trying to access a financial website, like is that I have an account on permanent TSP. Okay, but when I'm trying to access my permanent TSP bank, so in case if their domain, if their website is under maintenance, so this is not possible to get my bank, financial bank, but I have to be check, I have to be transaction, or I have to do something on my bank. Okay, so at that point how can I access this? And the bank authority don't want to bother me, so what they will do that? So at that point they will just bypass my request to another site, and that site will be similar like as PTSP. And if I wish, I can do my all works from that site by using cname command. So actually, if I'm talking about, if I want to tell you about cname, this cname command is help to our customers to access few of subdomains. Okay, the MX. Okay, so this is a very interesting point that nowadays it is very popular that sometimes we are getting mail. Sometimes we are getting mail um, from us, from our recruitment agency or somewhere. The mail address looks like that, uh, like is that edu dot at the rate of edu dot bd, like this way, but there is no option with Gmail. So actually that when I open my Gmail address, so my Gmail address interface looks like at the rate of gmail.com. So how it is possible that someone is sending mail to me that like us at the rate of edu.bd? So actually this happens with the domain mail server. Okay, so a domain can provide us actually like these email addresses to their own customers. Okay, so if I want to request to my domain to get customize my Gmail address, so by accessing the permission, I can get like this mail server address like this edu.bd or edu.org like this instead of gmail.com. So from my screen, if you see the NS, so what is the NS actually? On my screen, the NS mention that name server. Okay, so it's uh, it's used for protect my system from the hacker actually. That so what hacker they do, sometimes hacker they create the DDoS attack on a system, okay, on a server. So what is the DDoS? So DDoS is a series of number packets, and lots of packets are coming to my DHCP server. So and at the end of the moment, my DHCP server it will stop to service its own IP clients. Okay, so like this way, if so for this reason, on our server, our server mentioned to their customers that they have to create minimum 2 name server. If we have a 2 name server, so then the DDoS attack or any hacking attacks, um, their fruitful result should be little bit weakness, or uh, their attack will be a little bit weakness than strong. Okay, so like this situation we are using NS actually. And what is about SOA? So SOA is also a information related section where um, customer can write down their information, their details. If, for example, that if I have a domain on a server and this my domain has under maintenance, or my domain has any problem, so at that point the hotline peoples they can communicate with me. So for this reason the SOA option actually works on a domain. um, okay, and SRV, what is SRV actually? This is and how the SRV works on a domain server. Okay, so actually, the SRV is called for a specified port for a specified service. So if I'm talking about a system has 65,000 more ports, and every port they have their own service. So this is very important for a hacker to know which port has which work. So if I know that any port is open, so I will try to, as a hacker, I will try to attack on that port. Okay, so SRB mention the specified port for a specified service. And PTR, what is PTR? uh, so on a DNS server we will find the PTR option. So PTR commands actually, this is very interesting command. It's provide domain name with reverse lookup. So for example that I am a hacker. Okay, so for example that I am a hacker and I am trying to hack on a system. Okay, so at this point if I am trying to hack a system, and if I'm trying to hack a system, and when I will send when I'm doing a process on my from my system to my target system. So what will do, what I will get from my target system, I will find something other name. Okay, I will, as a result I will get different name, but the result will be okay, the result will be perfect, but I will get a different name. So the PTR option is always works to make confused a hacker. So so those are the basic commands actually on our DNS server.